Hi, everybody. Happy Freedom Friday. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I have one of my very dear friends on the line today who I'm interviewing. Her name is Alicia Hoang. She has just an amazing story and an amazing background. And so I thought that she would be such a wonderful person. She's achieved so much in her life for me to bring on today and interview. So let me tell you a little bit about her first, and then I'll ask her some questions. She can kind of share a little bit of her story with you guys today. So her background is actually in electrical engineering. For 15 years, she was a systems integrator. She worked on all different defense programs from the F-16 and F-35 to missile systems, unmanned vehicles, launcher systems. She was part of the Lockheed Martin Leadership Association. She taught charter school at Harmony Science Academy, and she's also the PTA president for her kids. She's achieved the top leadership level in our partner company, working in the pockets of her day part-time, which is unbelievable. It's absolutely amazing. I totally commend her for doing that. Tomorrow is actually her 1-year anniversary of when she left her corporate job to pursue her network marketing career full-time. This was her plan B, and it has now become something that she's just so passionate about, where she just shares and helps so many other people, break through and achieve so much success. So Alicia, thank you so very much for being here today. I am so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me and interviewing me.
Absolutely. So
Honored.
Oh my gosh, I feel honored to have you here. One of the coolest things, my favorite part about this journey is I wouldn't, come into contact with some of the amazing people that we meet every day. And so I'm just so thankful that we got to meet and that, we know each other, because if it weren't for network marketing, we wouldn't. So
Right.
did you ever think you would find yourself doing network marketing? What attracted you to this industry?
Oh, no, not at all. You're going to make me cry. I didn't have very nice things to say about network marketing, actually. It's the furthest from what I would have ever imagined for myself. My mom actually was in every form of network marketing business you can imagine. And so I was really annoyed by it growing up.
Wow. That blows my mind. So how did you end up here? Like, what attracted you to network marketing, I guess?
Well, it was my girlfriend, Carla Italiano, about 16 years ago. I think it was in 2001 when she recruited me for a makeup company. And I was actually pregnant. Was it 16 years ago? 14 years ago. I've lost track of time. When I was pretty much pregnant with my first child. So she was still in my belly, and I just, was thinking about how I couldn't be working and I wanted to be able to stay at home. And so she offered that opportunity to me. And so I started that journey, and I learned that, I'm very analytical. So I look at things more on the numbers side, and I saw the benefits of having a home-based business. And so I kind of started that journey with my friend, Carla.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Alicia. It's crazy because I feel like we go through life thinking that we're going to end up in a certain industry or a certain area of our life, and something comes in and changes that, and then we end up in a completely and totally different place.
Right.
So what are some key things that have helped you along the way to achieve such amazing success?
Honestly, it was just being coachable. I had faith in my friend Carla, and she's been in it, and she actually left her corporate career to pursue a business in direct sales or network marketing. And I decided to follow her. From the experience that I had before, I learned that I needed to be coachable because she always reached her goal and she was unstoppable. And so I said that this time around, if I was going to do it, I would follow her and listen to her instructions without questioning it.
That's amazing. I love that. I love how you felt confident enough to go after, you had faith, and you felt confident enough to go after what you wanted. So what kind of obstacles did you have to overcome to get to where you are today?
Most of the time, I just got to where I was successful based on following her. And then there were pockets of time where I wasn't contacting and connecting with her. And so my obstacles were really my mindset more than anything else, just more my belief in myself and the ability to do this on my own. So I kind of gave her a lot of credit and didn't give myself any credit. So it's really a belief and self-confidence in myself.
Sorry, thank you so much for sharing that. My 2-year-old just popped in for a minute.
No worries.
I think that's something that we all struggle with, right? Is belief in ourselves to do anything. And especially when we have critics along the way coming in and saying things that don't necessarily align with what we're doing, or, questioning our beliefs about things. So what are some things, and I know I'm kind of going a little bit off here.
No worries.
Did you experience any of that? And what are some things that you did to deal with that?
Well, honestly, this journey has been a journey of faith, like you just alluded to earlier, how I've been able to make the decisions. It actually wasn't as fast as I'd like to be able to progress, but I think there's a time for everything. And so it took me that long to go through the lessons and learn that, I am capable of doing this, and to not to, how do you say it, just basically to temper the feedbacks that I was getting. So if it was negative, I would actually try to write down the comments to see, instead of just negating it, I didn't edify it or create it. I wrote it down just so that I can see it and analyze it for a later time. But at the same time, I didn't really allow it to manifest, because if I allow it to manifest, then I'd be out for the day. I pretty much would be thinking about it and all, just kind of, I'm always in my head. So I'm always looking at what if scenarios. So I said, I just can't allow that. So I wrote it down and just let it go and just kept on doing what I needed to do. So that helped.
I love that. So you didn't really give much energy towards it. You just kind of wrote it down and showed that it existed and then moved forward from it.
Right. And then if I needed to see later on, if I had time to reflect upon it some more, then I would actually look at it and then provide feedback personally for myself to write it down if there is any validity to it and what I'm doing, what not doing, because I really need accountability more than anything else, because now it's my own business and I don't have anybody really giving me any feedback.
Yeah, so you basically used it to hold yourself accountable and make sure you were on the right track. I love that. I love how you took something that was so negative and turned it around to make it something extremely positive. I absolutely love that.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to let you know that most of the time, the people around you, the ones that you get negative feedback are the ones that are the closest to you, or the ones that you actually would give them some validity, that they know me, or maybe what they said has some, weight. So let me just put it down as right now. I can't focus on it because I can't be out of the game to be able to do what I need to do, So, right. I mean, because that's, the people in your lives are the people that know you, right? And so they know of what you were, but you're in a business to grow, right? So you're trying to get to where you want to be. So they're holding you back and you're trying to get to where you want to go. It's sort of A to Z kind of situation. And they're pulling you back and you're trying to move this way and you're kind of going back and forth, back and forth. So.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So would you do it if you were given this opportunity before, would you do it all over again? Like having gone through what you went through and going, overcoming all these obstacles, would you do it all over again?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. It's been amazing. What I've sacrificed versus what I've gained from it is like tenfold, hundredfold, whatever. It's worth every sacrifice I've made.
Is there anything that you choose to do differently?
Maybe the speed in which I went, even though you think that I've accomplished all these rankings and done well, I still want it faster.
That's awesome. Well, and I think that if you had to do it again, you probably could do it faster because you know a little bit more now than you did then, right?
Right, but you know, I never tried to do that because I've learned to have peace in the present moment because I'm always a future seeker, right? So I really am good at data and looking at things and then kind of putting things in its place. And what if, could if, you know, that kind of stuff really just kind of puts me out, and I don't need to waste my energy on that. So just be grounded in my present moment and learn about what I can and why I'm there. And so then just move forward.
I love that. I think that's important too. I think it's important to focus on the present. I think it's important to know where you're headed and where you're going, but you also have to enjoy the journey along the way, right? So that because you don't know what tomorrow, I mean, you have a vision of what tomorrow is going to bring, but there are always going to be obstacles that come up along the way, like your 2-year-old coming in your video every 5 minutes while you're trying to interview someone. And you just kind of have to take those and move forward, right?
Like you're why. That's why you're doing this, though.
Yes. But you know what I mean? Like you just kind of have to take those obstacles as they come, push through them, enjoy the journey along the way, and then continue to move forward. and you have done that beautifully. And so thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So how have you created more freedom in your life, like time freedom or financial freedom?
I really think just taking on this journey, a lot of folks, so this is a faith journey for me, and everything that's happened, you know, there's little vignettes throughout your life that you can see, oh, you know, God planted that for a reason. And a long time ago in my business, in my corporate job, I actually would go on travel. And in the Admirals Club, American was our, airline of choice. And so there would be all these articles talking about free enterprise economics. And what I learned was the countries that were the wealthiest were the ones that allowed their individual citizens the opportunity to have a participation in free enterprise. So what do I mean by all that? Basically being an entrepreneur. Because you create jobs from there and there's benefits from doing that. So you move the economy. And so I ended up coming back trying to learn about, well, what would it take for me to do a business and start a business? And I looked at online marketing and all this stuff. And all this was just in prep for Carla, you know. So I called Carla up one day telling her this crazy idea I had that I wanted to start an online marketing business with her. And I wanted to follow the network marketing model because of what I learned in the cosmetic company prior. And then I wanted to be able to answer a need of health, you know. So I wanted to do a supplement company that actually addressed the baby boomers. That was the trend that I was actually following because I really didn't think our medical system, you know, really addressed that. And so I told her all those crazy ideas, and she goes, instead of saying that I'm crazy, she goes and says, Alicia, I mean, she basically edified me. And then on top of edifying me, she goes, well, there's a company like that already. And I started this business. I've decided to become a consultant with them. And I've used their product for 6 years. Will you partner with me?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries. So I was in total shock with regards to her response.
Okay, we're good.
No worries. So she basically said that, you know, God has a setup for us and that there was no need for us to create our own company. And the two biggest thing for me was that the compensation would go back towards the associates and that there was no compromise on quality. I mean, oh my God, you know, that's why she was saying that Isagenix answers all your questions. So check, check, check. I did not go and decide to partner with her because then, like I said, it's a faith journey for me. So I thought it was great that I came up with the idea, but for her to really answer the call and say that, yeah, you know what, it's amazing. You know, God really does have this set up for you.
I can't see.
She can sit with us. Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead. You're about to say something?
I think that it's unbelievable.
Wait.
Like, Chelsea.
Wait.
Hey, can you say hi to Alicia and then can you go play? Say hi, Alicia. And go play. Yep. Thank you. I think that it's unbelievable. Like, what are the odds that you would want to start a company similar to our company? Okay, I'll get you your stroller in 1 minute. Okay. Can you be patient?
Okay.
Thank you. Like, what are the odds that you would think of this idea and then it would be something that already existed? And you know, it's funny because I think that this is a big faith journey. You know, no matter what you believe from a religious standpoint, you have to have a vision of where you're headed and where you're going, and you have to have faith that you're going to get there. And you can't ever let go of that faith. And so I think that everything happens for a reason. I think there's a reason why you didn't enter in with Carla at that specific time.
Yep.
And I think that you had to go through that and see that in order to get to where you are today. And so I think that that's beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that.
I appreciate you edifying me there. I will give you a few points from there. So we talked earlier about confidence and belief. I think that's what kept me from doing it. And then on top of that, it was the idea of investing in myself, you know, being a mom, having a family of 5. I mean, I've got 3 kids, and to spend that kind of money on myself, I don't have nice things to say. I was just thinking that I was just being selfish, and how could I do that, you know? So there was a lot of guilt associated with that. And it took, you know, figuring out what my pain points were before I decided to start. And that happened to me when the spring break coming around, and we went to spring break, and by Thursday I came back, I actually had hard breathing. I've always had an upper respiratory situation. And so I was out for 3 weeks after that. And so that was the time that I had a lot of thinking to do. And that's when I called Carla at the end of that.
That's beautiful. You know, you said it before when my child was walking into the picture, but that is like one of the biggest reasons why we are doing this and building this and helping share with people that you can spend more time with your kids, that there is a better way. Things don't have to be what, you know, you can decide to make a change. And I think you're right. I think a lot of people think it's selfish to take care of yourself, especially as a mom. And I've gone through that myself personally, especially in the beginning stages when you're first going through it all. And I commend you so much on taking the leap and taking care of yourself first. I mean, look at where you are. Like, look at how far you have come, Alicia. And I just think that that's so amazing and so unbelievable. And I commend you so much, because it is hard to, you know, to take that very first step. And especially as a mom, you have to take care of yourself first so you can be the best for your kids every single day. So you can be there for them and do exactly what they need. So thank you. I know that this is a very personal journey for you. And I so appreciate you being on and sharing everything that you have so far with us.
Oh, you're so sweet. But you really can't give me the credit. So what got me to starting the journey was I actually was in prayer about it constantly. And so during that 3-week time frame, you know, I'm like, you know, I said things like, really, God, you know, you have a really sick sense of humor. You have to put me down for 3 weeks so I can actually sit down and really talk to you, you know? But then I said, you know what, if this really is you, which I knew it was, but I said, you know, I need help. I need words. You need to give me words to be able to talk to my husband, you know, because I just felt this riddled with guilt having to spend that kind of money. And so I did come up with words, and I addressed my husband, and it's been an amazing journey ever since. So
that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think I'm trying to see. We got kind of off track, so I just want to
No
check
worries, no worries.
I have left. So I have 2 more questions.
Sure.
And the first one is if you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice you wish you had to help you along the way throughout this journey, what would that piece of advice be?
I really think belief more than anything else in self, but what really helped me with that was really prayer in the morning, having a regular routine, and just counting my blessings, like being in gratitude. I mean, it'd be ridiculous, like, oh, thank you for the green grass. Thank you for letting me breathe today. I would just go on and on until I forgot about myself, because that way it got me out of my head. And when I did that, that helped. And then my workout routine helped me too. So yeah, you got to believe in yourself, but at the same time, there are things physically you could do to help you get in a better mental state and physical state. I think Tony Robbins tells us that kind of stuff. So listening to positive feedback, and belief in self is a problem for me. And so I would say do whatever it takes to get myself thinking positively all the time and getting myself out of my head. And the things that helped was working out, consuming my nutrition, and having positive thoughts in my ear all the time, listening to podcasts. So.
Those are some really great things to do to help along the way.
Mommy.
So cute.
Okay.
You're fine.
Oh, I am so grateful for my mom, because she usually watches her when I do these, and I am just so grateful for her when she is here. And it's funny that you mentioned that, is sometimes we do feel ridiculous being grateful because we take, we get to the point where we take for granted some of the little things. And right now, especially, you're in Dallas, and there are people in Houston who are going through a really, really difficult time right now. And our hearts and prayers go out to them tremendously. I couldn't even imagine dealing with that. So yes, sometimes we feel a little bit ridiculous when we're grateful for certain things because we take them for granted. But the second that you don't have green grass, and the second that you don't have a bed to put your head down on, the second you're going to be wishing you had it, and you're going to be grateful for it. And so I think that that's really important. I think you shared some really amazing tips for people to keep their mindset up and belief, is take it back to gratitude and change your state and get in that state and change your focus, because what you focus on is what you're going to find.
Right? I love that saying.
Yeah. So thank you so much, because that's huge. Like, gratitude is huge. And those were just some really great tips for anybody that's struggling. So this kind of leads into my next question. I think you kind of already answered it a little bit, but I bet you have some other things that you're excited to share. So what's one piece of wisdom, if there's someone who's watching this who might have low belief or be down in their mindset or be unhappy or struggling with where they're at, what's one piece of wisdom that you think you could share that could help them with where they're at?
I kind of alluded to this earlier about just not thinking about yourself. So go serve. And you just mentioned the situation with the Hurricane Harvey in Houston. So, when you think that you got it bad, there's always somebody else that's got it even worse than you. Even the poorest people in the United States is the 1% in the world. I mean, there are folks that can't eat, don't have food, and we have an abundance here. And so if you're in the dumps and you're thinking, woe is me, I'm totally miserable, nobody can be worse off than I am, well, go serve, go feed the poor, and that will kind of put you and kind of orient you on all the blessings that you do have. That's pretty much it. I mean,
no, I love that. I think it's great. And it doesn't have to be something huge. Maybe it's sending a text message to someone who's having a real, to one of your friends you haven't talked to in a long time, and just, being grateful for them and pouring greatness into them. Maybe that's how you're going to serve today. It doesn't have to be some huge, elaborate scheme. I think that that's a really great piece of advice.
Oh, it's so funny you mentioned that, actually. there was this one lady that I thought about, and as we were talking, she actually poured belief into me, and then I said, "Oh my goodness, God really wanted us to connect," and so I showed her exactly what was in my notebook, and the notebook basically says that we're not created to be comfortable, we're created to be great, so God wants us, created us for greatness, and so I kind of reminded her of that, and she reminded me of that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We're supposed to do all this stuff. We're not supposed to be comfortable. We're serving. So.
Right. I love that. Thanks so much, Alicia, for being on. I know that there are people watching who got value out of what you've shared. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. I know that I got value out of it. You reminded me of a lot of things about gratitude and about serving and things like that, and focus. So thank you. And it's just great to hear. I mean, I know we know each other and stuff, but I don't know that I've ever heard your story this in depth.
Oh, really?
And so it's awesome to be able to hear your story this in depth, and also to be able to see how much it really touches your heart to be a part of this and to be serving so many people and helping. And you are just such an inspiring leader. And I am.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Stop
so.
it.
So before we jump off, is there anything else that you want to add or say?
Well, one takeaway, I guess I really focused a lot about service, and the reason for that is every time that if you saw that I wasn't sharing the opportunity or the business, or I'm in my head, it's mostly because I'm in my head. I'm not focused on serving, and so I got to get better at doing that, just recognizing that. And so I think that's my advice for somebody. If you're not doing well sharing this opportunity or this product line, is mostly because you're thinking too much about yourself. So, and I'm not saying that, what am I saying? I'm just basically saying, hey, if you really want to serve, find a way to really serve and connect with your heart instead of connecting with your head. So I've kind of learned a lot of that, because you think about it, I've worked in corporate America for 15 years. I've been all about my head, not really about my heart. And I did pray that God would use my gifts, skills, and talents for his purpose. And I know he sent me this way, and I didn't want it. But then at the same time, he's showing me that, yeah, these gifts, skills, and talents that I do have is perfectly aligned towards this business set or this coaching ability to help people reach their goals, with health and fitness, and financial freedom also. And so, it's like God knows me more than I know myself. So I guess I'm going to finish with that more than anything else. So that's it.
Thank you so much. I love that. You have to, if you want to accomplish anything, you have to first believe in yourself. That's the first step of it. So I think that's really important. So thanks so much for being on. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Friday. Please feel free to share this if you found value in it. I also post all of these, including my Transformation Tuesday videos I do on Tuesday on my YouTube channel. It's Jacqueline Murphy. And I can post a link in the comment section to here too. So I hope you're having a fabulous Friday. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and we will talk again next week.
Bye.
Thanks, Alicia. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Bye.